And that's really where I work with midlife women, is this gap between this is the life that you had, but now you want this life. And it's in that transition, kind of in that gap in between of the life you used to have and the life that you want to have, kind of finding purpose in this new life.
Hello and welcome to Pathways Unleashed, a special edition of Pathways with Amber Stitt. The Pathways Unleashed podcasts were recorded with special guests and the authors of The Unleashed Entrepreneur and The Biohacking Entrepreneur, who were celebrating the book launches at the Unleash Your Superpower conference in Delray Beach, Florida in April 2025. Let's join the conversation. Okay, here we are. All right, so we got Debbie Golden here, a best-selling author, and we're celebrating this week. We have new projects published.
It's weird for me to say that this is my second book that I've co-authored.
Well, we're not used to talking about it.
I know.
So they're here, and we just got them.
I know. I haven't seen it, so
I'm going to touch it. But yeah,
this is it. This is my...
Okay, so let's do a little cheers. Here we go. We got this. We'll go cheers. Okay, so everyone live, you've seen parts of this today. Who knows how long you've been with us, but at Owl Studios here, Owl will be present at the conference this weekend, but we are celebrating a book signing and we're in Boca Raton. So you are, I'm not going to say the city that you live in unless you want to, but you are now a Florida resident.
I am a Florida resident up in the kind of Cocoa Beach, Melbourne area.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Too many beaches. I can't keep track. I get jealous of all of you.
Yeah, so I'm from Wisconsin, at which there's really no beaches except for Lake Michigan, and you only can do that probably 2 or 3 months out of the year. So yes, definitely a different landscape.
But I like the transitions of the journeys because reinvention is kind of your thing to help women.
It is midlife women for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So transition happens at any age, right? Right. When you first become parents, when you first whatever. I think the difference with midlife transition that separates us women during this time frame is there's a million things coming at us. Meaning, so we're going through empty nesting.
So what age are you talking about? Ish.
It's so funny. Like menopause can hit women or empty nesting, depends on when you had your kids, but it's really more or less like when are these pivotal times in life that these big changes happen?
Because I think your demographic could be a little fluid.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could definitely be. So it's almost more about the emotional stuff that happens when, you have aging parents, you have career burnout, the careers that you loved for a million years, they no longer serve you. Like you wanted to climb the corporate ladder, you were so into it, and all of a sudden you just don't care anymore. Like you just don't care. And and then your kids are getting older and you want to spend as much time with them. All of a sudden you start going through menopause and you're just like, what's normal? Things are happening in your body. So there's all these changes, which I think is why midlife reinvention is so important, is because all of a sudden it's like this spotlight is on you because the life that you had before is gone and you can't control it. Like you can't control that your kids are going off to college. Like you want them to do it, but your role as mom is changing, right? Your parents are aging and you can't change that. You definitely can't change what's going on in your body. You can manage it, but you can't change it or stop it, your career. So you have all these factors.
Yeah.
And so it's like, now what? And that's really where I work with midlife women, is this gap between this is the life that you had, but now you want this life. And it's in that transition, kind of in that gap in between of the life you used to have and the life that you want to have, kind of finding purpose in this new life.
There's been some corporate talk, and sometimes it's just like a bad job, things like that. But I feel like I'm pulling from your perspective. I mean, I know you a little bit, so I'm kind of a little bit biased with my information. It's not just off the cuff, I guess. But I liked how you just said that. Maybe there's just a point where you're like, I don't like this anymore, and it's okay.
It's okay.
Let's talk about that, because I think sometimes things get yanked out under the rug, or like there's a trauma, or this is where you're almost like, nope, I'm good. I just don't want to do this. And it's being okay with it, acceptance. There's an underlying thing with our messages with the podcast all day is just like knowing yourself. So would you say the work that you're trying to build into the demographic of your client, we'll call it, or your community, is to help almost build a transition window, like before the transition, like help them be okay early, but then through it all?
I don't know.
There's a way to prepare.
I don't think there is. And the reason is because you have to feel it in your soul.
Sure. You got to go through it.
it's to me more or less something like what no longer serves you. And I could never have imagined when that hit for me. I don't think it was anything I could prepare for, but it's just something that naturally happens. And I'll say this just in my personal life recently is you get to these things where, and to your point, it's kind of hard to put this together, but it's getting rid of the things that no longer serve you. Even if at some point they were beautiful, or at some point you needed them, or they protected you. During that time of life, you needed them, but then you can't take that where you're going or what your next phase is.
I think that's especially like chapters of your life and mourning that past. I think that's probably a constant thing, but you got to be okay with that chapter might not any longer serve you, or that friend, or the kids is hard. That's always hard.
The kid thing is hard because it's probably the same thing at like, corporate America, or even being a mom is like so much of your identity is wrapped up in being mom. And, it is that chaotic, activity thing where, you're always running to the next thing, or you're cooking, or making sure they're
Packing and driving,
looking for the other shoe before the soccer game.
Yeah.
Just like all the things. And, all of a sudden it's gone. And it's just letting your kids go and having that faith in God, the universe, that you believe that you did a good job and they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it is, as I look at this, what I'm calling the midlife gap of
Sure.
no longer this life anymore isn't the same, and you can't change, you can't go backwards. So now we need to go this way. So in that gap is kind of where my work has really turned into, of having that faith that it is safe to let some of this stuff go.
Yeah.
No longer serves you. So yeah.
And I think you've done a great job of that with the community online and social media, being relatable and letting people feel vulnerable and to share that with others. But then you're helping them build some solutions and pull that into not a game plan, but more of just being okay and stepping into like, what's the new world for you?
Yeah.
This episode of Pathways has been brought to you by Owl. Owl gives you access to new networks and valuable contacts, otherwise unreachable without a referral. Get in touch instantly in real time on a private one-on-one audio call. Search through vetted professionals to connect with the people you are looking for. Download the Owl app today and expand your reach.
I wanted to talk about scarcity versus overflow because I see this in how you talk about it. And I think people need to hear from a perspective of like what maybe they could even take away today.
Yeah. So I think anytime you start something, like I really feel this a lot on social media, or anyone that has their own business or creating something, is that your results are a result of your energy. And you can have kind of energy coming from two places. And this was part of my huge online journey, that I'm a Gen X and I came from this thing where you just worked hard. And, if it wasn't working, you just worked harder.
Yeah.
And, you push.
I'm on the X, and then I'm on the, I don't know, depends on who I talk to, but I think I'm an X or two. Suck it up.
So just keep going. You keep going. And so sometimes we all tend to put ourselves in this position where we feel like it almost becomes desperate. And okay, it's not working for us. That means we have to work harder. Okay, and you're desperate. You want that sale, or you want someone to call you, or you want, and you keep pushing and you keep pushing. So it becomes this overall energy of lack. So where you're coming from is lack. And people can see this. They can sense it. It's like that. They can just a million miles away. They can feel that you're not.
It's like when you smile on the phone, you can tell when someone's smiling at you through the phone. So this is even like bigger.
Right.
And that's the energy, negative.
Right. Or the other side is coming from joy, abundance. How I want to help midlife women is like, I want to help them. And it's coming from a place of, I just want women to feel so good about this next chapter. I want them to find their divine purpose. I want them to be everything that they were put on this planet to do.
Yeah.
And so when you're coming from that place of pure joy, abundance, love, all of those things, your audience can feel it. Your friends can feel it.
Yeah.
Your family can feel it. Like, this is just a beautiful place versus, oh my God, I got to make money, or I need people to buy my stuff, or whatever it is. Maybe
so we tell ourselves,
all those things. So when you're coming from that, it's all about the energy that you're bringing to the table. So
that's got to be healthy for you to dial into that. And then it's easier if you allow yourself to have that.
Yeah. And I think so many people have these big ideas of what they want to build a business for. And then building the business coming from a place of truly helping people is a different ballgame because it's personal.
Yeah.
And it can be deep. And especially a lot of the people in these books, you are affecting people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you can take very lightly because it takes vulnerability both on my side as well as theirs if they really want to move into a life of joy, abundance, faith, hope, all of those things. So yeah, it's the journey.
So that's where you're creating a new space for women. Let's talk about that because I know that you're on Instagram, but when it comes to a new space, I want people to know how to find you, obviously through the books, but what does a new space mean to you?
Yeah.
What have you done for yourself to have this be a thing for others?
Yeah. Like I said, I am like the queen of, shall we say, pivot as I've gotten in this online journey because starting anything on social media online where you're the face, it is changing constantly. Yeah. And I also think it's personal development on crack. It just like exposes every single one of your insecurities, weaknesses.
Oh, you're saying being a creative is like, let's go teach ourselves, teach tech, but you have to be online and be present and all the things. I mean, it's a lot. Yeah. And you're doing it, girl.
And as a business, you start comparing yourself to others and it's just all of these things, negative mindsets happen. But the community in and of itself, that's evolved and it's going to continue to evolve. Yeah. So as you said, like a lot of midlife women relate to me because I'm right in the middle of it. You know, I did the corporate America ladder thing. I've been an entrepreneur. I'm empty nesting in real time. Since January 17th, I'm an empty nester.
We'll call you empty beaching or something. You're on the beach now. Oh,
totally. You know, so all the things. My parents are getting older.
Yeah. Are you guys close to, are they back home?
They're in Wisconsin.
Okay. Yep. So you have to go back and forth and get your winter time too.
Yeah. All the things. So I'm right in it. So women can relate to me. The menopause thing is huge. So I wanted to create a place for women, first of all, that they can resonate with other women. This is a time where not a lot of conversations have happened. I mean, recently, like Oprah had a special out about menopause, and there's so many women that are now Gen X women that are finally like, okay, this isn't normal. We need to talk about
Yes.
Like, we don't have, honestly,
giving some resources and community, they don't feel somewhat normal.
Feel like crap. There are things that we can do that we can live a healthy, happy life.
Yeah.
So anyways, all of these subjects, just a place for women to feel not alone. But what I've realized in this community is that I bring in speakers, I have all the things. But, you know, the one thing that is missing that I'm working on now and where my work is taking me is to that individual that even though now I have that community of women that resonate and we're all like, okay, we're all going through the same shit.
Yeah.
Like all of it. And it's all at once and it's a lot and no one knows how to navigate it. Like we're all there and we're clinking our wine glasses together. Get it. But it's really that gap of what's next for me. How do I find my purpose?
Yep.
Now what?
Yep.
And it's in that gap is really where my work is now starting again. And it's going to be very personal, individualized, sensitive. And because I've realized that it does get to the point of what are we carrying that we probably have been carrying since childhood or our life experiences. A lot of this heavy, icky stuff that we need to let go of before we move into your purpose, your joy, your love.
Not clean slate it, still respect it, but
let it go.
Yeah.
And so I'm calling these big things we're holding rocks.
Okay.
And, you know, my personal rock comes from some childhood stuff of needing to perform. And like I have to earn love and I have to get attention to get that love, which comes from childhood. I have to carry all this and I have to do it all on my own. And if it's not working, I have to work harder and I have to work harder. And I've learned that that's really not healthy for me.
Yeah.
And I need to drop it.
Yeah.
You're listening to Pathways with Amber Stitt. For more episodes like this, plus so much more, check out the podcast page at amberstitt.com. Let's take action together. Now let's get back to our episode.
I circled, I don't want to forget, because sometimes when I'm talking, faith, hope, and freedom, I feel like that's what you're giving yourself and that's what you're building for your community, your clients.
Yeah. And it's almost like I'm walking the same journey and I want to teach women the same thing that I'm learning as I'm going to. Because if you truly want to be free and you truly want to have that joy, that freedom, these rocks are heavy.
Yeah.
And also, so much of our focus goes to these rocks.
They're not good to carry. You can strength train with them here and there, but they're not good long term.
And they also hinder your ability to see clearly your main purpose.
Yeah.
And so my work is getting women to look up from all of these burdens that they've been carrying for so long. It's not easy. There is a process. It's the rocks method. I'm not ready to launch it yet, but in that method, it's not as easy as letting it go. And they're not as easy as this is a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's feeling safe to let it go. That being in an environment that you feel loved, that you are loved.
So before that happens, people can learn about it through the books.
They can. So the rocks method, this has happened since the book, but what is really great about the books in and of itself, Unleashed, the one that's coming out, is a lot of my so I said that personal development track of starting some online business and going through like my journey and the authentic piece of it, because I started not authentic, right? Because
it didn't look like that to me.
Really?
No.
Oh my God. But inside I was dying.
But you learn as you go. And I mean, I guess I could go back at YouTube 3 years ago and not love those either, but we have to grow from it. So you're putting yourself out there and that's more than most can say.
Plus I was doing something like I was reselling these courses and none of my heart was in it. I was coming from a place of, I just want to make a bunch out. And so that what I was talking about, that place of lack and desperation. And that energy, I did sell enough, shall we say, but
the purpose wasn't behind it.
It wasn't good. Yeah, my mindset and oh my gosh, I was looking at how many views I was getting, how many followers.
Because in business, you're supposed to run the analytics and audit some of that. But I think that and this is where the stories are so important. We started with Derek Hatch, he's the storyteller. And, he's going to be potentially better because he's been living that storytelling. That's what he does. But all of us evolve through sharing. And that's where I'm not an author, but I love books. I've always loved books, but I wasn't a natural author. But then to write some chapters really helped me convey how do I want to help people? And then you put it out there and then there's this evolution. And so that's why the books, the community are so important. So I really want us to motivate people to push, whether it doesn't matter the demographic or the age, what do you want to do? Because we're going to help you nudge you to get to that point.
Yeah.
There are experiences too.
Yep. It's all about the pivot. Like I said, I've changed since I've written this book, right? And this chapter in this book.
Yep.
And so as you grow and evolve, your business, you as a person grow and evolve. So that's why it's I pivoted probably more times than I can count. I'm feeling like this is home to me where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I can feel it all my years of coming up till this point feel like this is where I'm meant to be.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's fun to be part of that in a small little way, but seeing that and then being able to celebrate it. And we're going to celebrate it this week even further.
It's so fun. Yes.
But how can people find you? Oh, outside of Instagram. I know that you have, but just in case, I'll put it in the show notes.
The midlife community that I have it's free and it's actually a link on my Instagram, on my TikTok, all over, and it's to the community.
I don't want to forget, people can find you, connect with you. And then on the Owl Network too, we will be on there. You want to connect with us after this week. So awesome.
Thank you, Amber.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us for this special edition of Pathways Unleashed, recorded at Owl headquarters here in Delray Beach, Florida. Join us for more powerful conversations with real people who dare to design life on their own terms. Until next time, keep taking action on your unique path.